Please repeat word for word. Pravartate, prevail. Yatra, wherein. Rajatama, the modes of passion and ignorance. Tayo, both of them. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Cha, and. Mishram, mixture. Na, never. Cha, and. Kala, time. Vikramaha, influence. Na, neither. Yatra, therein. Maya, illusory, external energy. Kim, what? Uta, there is. Apare, others. Hare, of the personality of Godhead. Anuvrataha, devotees. Yatra, wherein. Sura, by the demigods. Asura, by the demons. Architaha, worshipped. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. In that personal abode of the Lord, the material modes of ignorance and passion do not prevail, nor is there any of their influence in the goodness, in goodness. There is no predominance of the influence of time, so what to speak of the illusory external energy? It cannot enter that region. Without discrimination, both the demigods and the demons worship the Lord as devotees. Both the demigods and the demons worship the Lord as devotees. Yeah, that can only happen in Vaikuntha planets, because we have heard, right? There are a few demons also present in the Vaikuntha planets, but spiritual planets, but they're not the demons as we know the demons are. But they are devotees who worship the Lord. Even being demons, they worship Him, the Supreme Personality of God, as devotees. So it's pretty nice to hear that point, you know. Don't confuse the demons that we know who don't worship the Supreme Lord. So these are the demons who worship the Supreme Lord as devotees, right? Is that what it means? Yeah. All right. So the purport is very long. It's like about three-page long purport. So we can just go through the purport today, and then I won't have to speak, or we can just talk a little bit about the purport, whatever, depends on the time. So purport: the kingdom of God, or the atmosphere of the Vaikuntha nature, which is called the Tripad Vibhuti, is 3 times bigger than the material universes and is described here, as also in the Bhagavad Gita in a nutshell. This universe, containing billions of stars and planets, is one of the billions of such universes clustered together within the compass of the Mahat Tattva. And all these millions and billions of universes combined together constitute only 1/4 of the magnitude of the whole creation of the Lord. There is the spiritual sky also. Beyond this sky are the spiritual planets under the names of Vaikuntha, and all of them constitute 3/4 of the entire creation of the Lord. God's creation are always innumerable. Even the leaves of a tree cannot be counted by a man, nor can the hairs on his head. However, foolish men are puffed up with the idea of becoming God Himself, though unable to create a hair of their own bodies. Men may discover so many wonderful vehicles of journey, but even if he reaches the moon by his much advertised spacecraft, he cannot remain there. The sane man, therefore, without being puffed up as if he were the God of the universe, abides by the instructions of the Vedic literature, the easiest way to acquire knowledge in transcendence. So let us know through the authority of Srimad Bhagavatam of the nature and constitution of the transcendental world beyond the material sky. In that sky, the material qualities, especially the mode of ignorance and passion, are completely absent. The mode of ignorance influences the living entity to the habit of lust and hankering, and this means that in the Vaikuntha Lokas, the living entities are free from these two things. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Brahma Bhuta stage of life, one becomes free from hankering and lamentation. Therefore, the conclusion is that the inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planets are all Brahma Bhuta living entities, as distinguished from the mundane creatures who are all compact in hankering and lamentation. When one is not in the modes of ignorance and passion, one is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness, and in the material world, goodness is situated in the mode of goodness in the material world. Goodness in the material world also at times becomes contaminated by touches of the modes of passion and ignorance. In the Vaikuntha Loka, it is unalloyed goodness only. The whole situation there is one of freedom from the illusory manifestation of the external energy. Although illusory energy is also part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, illusory energy is differentiated from the Lord. The illusory energy is not, however, false, as claimed by the monist philosophers. The rope accepted as a snake may be an illusion to a particular person, but the rope is a fact, and the snake is also a fact. The illusion of water on the hot desert may be illusion for the ignorant animal searching for water in the desert, but the desert and water are actual facts. Therefore, the material creation of the Lord may be an illusion to the non-devotee, but to a devotee even the material creation of the Lord is a fact, as the manifestation of his external energy. But this energy of the Lord is not at all. The Lord has his internal energy also, which has another creation known to be the Vaikuntha Lokas, where there is no ignorance, no passion, no illusion, and no past and present. With the poor fund of knowledge, one may be unable to understand the existence of such things as the Vaikuntha atmosphere, but that does not nullify its existence. That spacecraft cannot reach these planets does not mean that there are no such planets, for they are described in the revealed scriptures. As quoted by Srila Jiva Goswami, we can know from the Narada Pancharatra that the transcendental world or Vaikuntha atmosphere is enriched with transcendental qualities. These transcendental qualities, as revealed through the devotional service of the Lord, are distinct from the mundane qualities of ignorance, passion, and goodness. Such qualities are not attainable by the non-devotee class of men. In the Padma Purana, Uttarakhand, it is stated that beyond the 1/4 part of God creation is the 3/4 manifestation. The marginal line between the material manifestation and the spiritual manifestation is the Viraja river. And beyond the Viraja, which is a transcendental current flowing from the perspiration of the body of the Lord, there is the 3/4 manifestation of God's creation. This part is eternal, everlasting, without deterioration, and unlimited, and it contains the highest perfectional stage of living conditions. In the Sankhya Kumudi, it is stated that unalloyed goodness or transcendence is just opposite to the material modes. All living entities there are eternally associated without any break, and the Lord is the chief and prime entity. In the Agama Puranas also, the transcendental abode is described as follows. The associated members there are free to go everywhere within the creation of the Lord, and there is no limit to such creation, particularly in the region of the 3/4 magnitude. Since the nature of that region is unlimited, there is no history of such association, nor is there end of it. The conclusion may be drawn that because of the complete absence of the mundane qualities of ignorance and passion, there is no question of creation nor of annihilation. In the material world, everything is created and everything is annihilated, and the duration of life between the creation and annihilation is temporary. In the transcendental realm, there is no creation and no destruction, and thus the duration of life is eternal unlimitedly. In other words, everything in the transcendental world is everlasting, full of knowledge and bliss without deterioration. Since there is no deterioration, there is no past, present, and future in the estimation of time. It is clearly stated in this verse that the influence of time is conspicuous by its absence. The whole material existence is manifested by actions and reactions of elements which make the influence of time prominent in the matter of past, present, and future. There are no such actions and reactions of cause and effects there. So the cycle of birth, growth, existence, transformation, deterioration, and annihilation, the 6 material changes are not existent there. It is the unalloyed manifestation of the energy of the Lord without illusion as experienced here in the material world. The whole Vaikuntha existence proclaims that everyone there is a follower of the Lord. The Lord is the chief leader there without any competition for leadership, and the people in general are all followers of the Lord. It is confirmed in the Vedas, therefore, that the Lord is the chief leader and all other living entities are subordinate to Him. For only the Lord satisfies all the needs of all other living entities. Om Jnanatimrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we have a very nice, lengthy purport, description of the Vaikuntha planets, the spiritual planets. So, the sum of this whole description is basically its opposite of what we have in the material world, right? That's what Prabhupada is saying. Whatever exists, whatever dualities and whatever craziness exists in the material world is free of that in Vaikuntha. Because this is a material world which is known as Kunta, the place of anxiety. And that's the spiritual world, place of no anxiety. Well, there is spiritual anxiety, but that spiritual anxiety is a beautiful anxiety to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So, just to do a little recap, as we know, Brahma, the creator of this material realm, has arrived in his lotus seat, and he's climbing down the stem to find the source of his creation. And he is going down and down and down and climbing down, but he cannot find the source of the stem. So he's a bit confused now. He's a bit bewildered. How can I find what is going on? Who has created me? How would I know? So he uses his intelligence and he meditates. Before he meditates, he hears some sound vibration that is telling him to do tapasya or perform austerity. So he understands, because he's a smart man. He's a good listener. He understands, all right, there is a sound that's telling me to meditate, do austerity. So that's what I should do. But we are different, right? Every time we hear in Bhagavatam class, please read, please chant Hare Krishna without offenses. Please listen to Krishna's pastimes and glories with diligence and attention. But we don't really understand that point, even though we've been told that, a gazillion times, right? But still it doesn't get inside our head very easily. We still make offenses, and we still are distracted by the material natures, the 3 modes of nature. So Brahma is also influenced by the modes, because He is also, he's the creator of the material world. So, but he's not on level as we are. He's a pure devotee. So he's fully surrendered to Krishna. So it's much easier for him to get away from this pure goodness, right? That's what Prabhupada says in the purport. Pure goodness. If you want to achieve the spiritual realm, you got to be in the pure goodness. Not goodness, pure goodness. What is the difference between goodness, being in mode of goodness, and being in pure mode of goodness? So, mode of goodness means you are performing all the Vedic injunctions, you are following the protocols, you're doing everything nicely. But pure goodness means that you are fully surrendered to Krishna. That's what pure goodness means. That you are beyond goodness, passion, and ignorance. You're not influenced by the three changes in the modes of material nature. But in the material world, it's hard to get to the level of pure goodness. Why is that? Because we know in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that. Prakrite kriyamanani gunakarmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Thus, influenced by the three modes of material nature, the doer thinks that I am the doer of activities that are actually performed under the three modes of nature. Right? That's the translation of this purport. Of this text in Bhagavad Gita. So why is this happening? Why is a person bewildered? It's because of false ego. Is anyone here ever thought that I don't have any false ego? Or is it just me? Yeah. So we all have false ego. But sometimes we think, I'm doing so nicely. I'm doing everything nicely. I don't have any false ego. That is the false ego. Thinking that you don't have any false ego. So we should remember this point that because of the influence of false ego, we perform activities that are being dominated by the change in the three modes of nature. But, what is the false ego of a living entity? The false ego is to think that I am the doer of all activities. I am the body. I am the mind. That's all they know. They don't know the definition of the soul. They don't know the understanding of the soul. So that's what Krishna is trying to tell us through Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. He's instructing Lord Brahma and many other great sages are being instructed in this supreme science of understanding the difference between the body and the soul. So how should we remember this point? Because we always forget. We live in the material realm, and there's, as Prabhupada said in the purport, in a very nice description, there is always forgetfulness, there's always, drama. So all these things just makes it easier for a living entity to forget his constitutional position. That is, that he's the servant in the spiritual planet of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. So, one often may question that if Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am, one who attains my abode, never comes back again, right? That's what Krishna says in many places. One who reaches the spiritual realm never comes back to the material platform. Is that correct? Yes? So why is it that we came in the first place from the spiritual planet? Has anyone ever thought about this question? It comes to people's mind often. So the answer, the Shastra explains us, is that you shouldn't worry how you got here. Then we give the example of being in the well, So if you are in a well, you wonder, how did I get here? But that's only a quick thought. You don't focus on that thought too much, that I am. Then you focus that I am already here. Now I just need to figure out how to get out of this well where I'm stuck at, So we don't focus on the point that how did I get here? It's a good point to have, how did I get here? But you don't want to spend all your text, all your energy and your brain just to figuring out how did I get here? You're already here and you can see it. Then just try to focus on how to get out of it, right? Rather than thinking how did I get here? So, for example, if you're stuck in a well and someone's throwing you a rope, please take the rope and come out of this well. And what do you think? Is, no, first I need to figure out how did I get here. Then I'll take your rope. Because I don't know where this rope will take me. So I want to focus, That's what Prabhupada is saying. The monist philosophers, they often think, they often meditate upon the creation, like how did I get here, or what's going on, all these things. But you shouldn't focus on that. You should focus on how to get out of it. If you're caught in a fire, in a house, there is a fire, and you're caught inside the fire, you don't just sit there and meditate, how did the fire take place? What did I do wrong? Did I leave my stove on? Or maybe it was a short circuit of electricity that the fire happened. You don't think all these questions while you're stuck in a house that's burning. The first thing you do is to get out of that house. Figure out a way to get out of that burning house. And then you can think about whatever you want. But the first thing is to get out of it. So this material creation is a very dangerous place to be. Even though it's creation of the Supreme Lord. And why are we in this creation? Because we wanted to be in this material illusion. So Krishna, because Krishna takes care of everything. All the desires people have, as we hear. Krishna takes care of your desire in such a way that you don't have that desire ever again. Right? So this is the secret ingredient. So Krishna created this material world for us who had this false ego of dominance, who wanted to be the Lord of everything. So Krishna has given us this opportunity to go fulfill your desire, this dream-like desire. In dreams we can have any desires, whatever we want, but it's a dream. It's not a reality. Yeah? We all know that, right? It's a dream, it's not a reality. There's a difference. So similarly, being in this Kunta planet, this middle level planets, is a dream-like situation which we are stuck in. And we need to get out of this illusion and go back to reality, which is the spiritual abode of Krishna, Vaikuntha planets and Goloka Vrindavan. So, in next few verses, we will also hear a detailed description about the spiritual realm, the qualities of the spiritual planets, the Vaikuntha planets, and how the devotees act in the spiritual realm. So, but before we go that, we need to understand this question. Why is Lord Brahma, the first thing he gets to understand from the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the difference between material and spiritual abode, Because he has a big service on his hand, right? We sometimes try to create little things and we think it's so difficult. He's creating the whole material realm. We cannot imagine how difficult, how confusing that job is going to be. I was reading in 11th canto that when Lord Brahma was creating, the sons of Lord Brahma, the 4 Kumaras, asked him the question about who is it? Who is the absolute truth? What is going on? Like, you created this world, but who created you? And who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And Lord Brahma is like, oh, that's such a good question. I don't even know how to answer that question. It's so much information in there. Right? So what did Lord Brahma did? He meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then Krishna appeared right away in his Hamsa incarnation. That Hamsa avatar, the swan incarnation. The swan appeared, telling everyone, led by Lord Brahma, what is the point of the existence, what's going on. So, similarly, if we ever have confusion, if we have any doubts, we should listen to Bhagavatam, because Bhagavatam is the answer to all problems. And Bhagavad Gita, of course, is answer to all the problems that comes in this human thought or human mind. So we should take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita and try to understand the cause of all causes. Try to surrender to Krishna. Krishna says that in material world there's the 6 changes, right? What are the 6 changes? A person takes birth, stays there. What are the 6 changes? You remember the 6 changes? How does it start? So you start, take birth, then mature, What's that? First you grow. You don't grow? I think everyone grows in the material world. Well, Prabhupada is mentioned here, so we won't speculate. We'll just read it out loud. Where you go? There you go. So there is cycle of birth, growth, existence, transformation, deterioration, and annihilation. So you grows, you stays there, you dwindle, and then you are gone, right? So, but this doesn't happen in the spiritual world. This is the defect of the material world, that the body is always changing. It's going from one body to another, stuck in this material realm. Because we all don't know how many bodies we have taken. Does anyone know how many bodies they have appeared in? What forms of bodies they have appeared in? Yeah, but because I don't know. So this is the great opportunity of a human birth that we have been awarded with. So we should use this opportunity and take advantage of this opportunity to understand the real essence of bhakti, the real goal of life, which is bhakti, and go back to the spiritual world, which is our original home, right? So we can use this as an example. For example, like someone, who's from Australia is going to Austria, for example, and he doesn't have his passport, he doesn't have any money, he's a traveler, a backpacker, and he's running around from one place in Austria to another with no possibility to come back home, back to Godhead, or his original home, Australia. So how is he ever going to come back? He has to take the shelter of something, He has to find the right source who can help him bring him back to home. Does that make sense? So we should also do that. We should take this opportunity that Prabhupada has given us in the form of his great spiritual knowledge, literature. Please read, please understand, please discuss, and then we will be able to achieve what we really, really need, is to go back home, back to Godhead. So there's a detailed information in the purport. If there's any questions, comments, corrections, please ask now. So, is there anything anyone would like to discuss? Any points that sticks out to someone? Any realizations someone must have, having been traveling around different parts? So, anything from anyone? Alright, we'll just end there then. Thank you for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi.